remember. So raise your hand if you're in Awana and you are here today. Who from Pier 252 goes to Awana? Okay, very good. So if you're in Awana, when you're saying your verses, this part right here is called the address. Say the address.
The address.
Now, if you're not in Awana, that is okay. You should go to Awana. Awana is a program we have at Canopy Roads that is very fun, and it helps boys and girls learn the Bible. But if you don't go to Awana, that is okay. When you learn verses, you can know that this part is called the what? Address. Some people use the word the reference, okay, because it's where you go to in the Bible. You refer to it in the Bible. But I like to use the word address, okay? Just like the mailmen that deliver packages and mail to your house, they have to know your address to bring you your mail. And the same is for the verse. We have to know the address so we know where to find it. All right, Eli, does what you want to say have to do with what I'm talking about right now? Is it about the verse or is it something else?
It's about when I go to Good News Club.
Oh, yes. Yes, Eli comes to Good News Club. Yes, he does. We talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did.
Good News Club.
I'm so glad you do. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you love it. All right, so let's read it. I'm going to read it from the Bible, and you're going to read it up here. And your job right now is to make sure that it matches so that you know I'm not making up the verse on my own. Ready? John 15:12. And I marked it with a sticky note, but I'm actually really reading it from chapter 15. And here's what it says. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Did it match?
Yes.
Check one more time. Here it says, this is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you.
Yeah.
It matches. So this verse really is in the Bible. It's true. And it tells us that this is God's commandment. That means we must obey it. It's really shouldn't be a choice. We do have a choice, but a commandment, God's really saying you must do what I'm saying. Now, we do choose if we're going to love people like Jesus, but when God uses the word commandment, He's really telling you that you really, really must do that. Okay? So it says, this is my commandment, that you love one another. We're supposed to love other people, even the people, as we talked about last week, that are hard to love. Because there are some people in our lives that maybe we don't really feel like loving them. Maybe it's someone in your class that maybe they have done some things to you, or they say things to you, or maybe on the playground, you've had maybe a problem with them, and you don't feel like that they deserve to be loved because of how they treat you. Eli, listen. Or maybe it's someone in your own family that's hard to love. Maybe sometimes it's that brother or sister that bothers you, or they tell on you all the time. And you feel like they're always getting you in trouble, especially maybe if they're a big sibling. I know some of you in here are the older sibling. But maybe if you're younger, maybe you feel like they're always trying to get you in trouble. And it's hard to love even your own sibling. That happens to us too, even for grown-ups. Sometimes we have a hard time loving our siblings too. And other people. We can't talk about every situation, but I bet you can think of someone in your life that might be hard to love, but God is saying that we should. All right, put your hands down for just a moment, okay? Let me get through this part, okay? Then it says, as I have loved what? You. Because Jesus showed love to us when He died on the cross. That's how He showed the greatest love. Romans 5:8 says, but God shows His love for us, in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Jesus dying on the cross was the greatest way He showed love. I'm sure that your parents might be willing to die for you because they love you so much. And that's kind of how Jesus is with us. He loves us enough that he took our spot and died in our place. And because he loves us, we should love other people. And we remember from last week, if you were here, that the boys in the story, were they showing love to the other kids in the race? No, they were trying to cheat. They were trying to get them out. They were not showing love. Will there be new people in the story or people in the story to show them love? You'll have to listen because we're going to find out today if it changes a little bit. Tell me quick, okay?
I think they're kind of being bullied to the kids.
A little bit.
Because they're trying to make them win so they won't get to win.
Yes. Eli?
I had a best friend. He threw rocks at my friends, and then they bumped each other's head. And he tried to throw it on me, and then they went down to the office to get some ice, and they accidentally called the hospital.
Oh.
And then they came back, and then I just got in trouble because he told me on purpose.
When you didn't do it. And it's times like that where we don't want to be nice back to the person or love them, but we're supposed to, right? So let's say it together. Ready? Stand up. I want to hear you. John 15:12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. John 15:12. Have a seat. If you're here today and you would say to Miss Jenna, I know that Jesus is my Savior and I have asked him to forgive my sin, then you need to make sure that you are showing love to the people in your life, even the ones that are hard to love. And you need to obey this commandment. And if it's hard for you, ask God to help you. But if you don't know Jesus as your Savior, you can't love people the way God wants you to because you haven't accepted his own love in your life and what he did on the cross for you. And that's something he wants you to think about. Then you can show love the way that God wants. And all of us here would love to talk to you about that if you have those questions. Or your parents can talk to you about that, okay? All right, let's play a little game with this and then we're going to move on. Ready? Y'all ready? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to choose one of you to pick a word from the verse, any word you want to. It can even be something in the address. And then we're going to do an action on that word whenever we get to it. So, for example, if someone chooses the word commandment, all right, then we're going to pick an action like clap our hands once. Then we're going to say it. When we get to the word commandment, what are you going to do? Clap. So let's try it. John 15:12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. John 15:12. Claire, pick a word. Love. Okay. So we'll do love and loved. Okay. Ready? Let's see, Claire, what do you want us to do on that word? Huh? You want us to clap, all right? So we'll keep commandment and still clap, okay? So clap on commandment, love, and love. Stand up, ready? John 15:12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. John 15:12. All right. Haley, pick a word. You. Okay, we see it twice. What do you want us to do? A different action. We could stand up and spin. We could do a jumping jack. We could pat our head. What did you say? Stomp your feet. Okay, stand up. Now, are y'all going to remember to do all this? Here we go. John 15:12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. John 15:12. Good. All right, Jacob, pick a word. 15. Okay, now we say the address twice, so we get to do it twice. Pick something for us to do. No.
Jumping jack.
Okay. A jumping jack. Ready? Stand up.
How do you do jumping jack?
I got to hold this. See what Samantha's doing? Ready? Guys, this is a lot to remember. Ready? John 15:12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. John 15:12. All right, one more. You think we could do one more? All right, Isaiah, would you like to choose a word?
No.
Another. All right, pick another action. What action do you want us to do? Got one? We could stand or we could spin once. We could touch our toes. We could pat our head. What do you want us to do? Hurry, choose quick. What do you want? Huh? Oh, goodness. Did y'all hear what he said?
No, I want to do the rolling pin.
What is that? Okay. Y'all want to do that?
Sure.
All right.
Oh,
Now, hey, it's got to be something we can do fast, so pick one of those movements from it. The one where you rolled your arms? How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Stand up. Guys, this is a lot to remember. Here we go. Do y'all remember what to do? All right. Ready? John 15:12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. John 15:12. Very good. All right, have a seat. Let me see who is sitting up, looking up, listening. If Miss Charlene asks any questions, you put your hand up and then zip up, okay? Mr. Stephen, would you be watching today for one child that you think is following all of the rules well and someone that's participating? And at the end, I'm going to give away another bubble stick. All right, now Aiden won last week. That doesn't mean he can't win again. All right, but those of you that didn't have a chance or didn't get picked last time, I want you to be on your best behavior right now. Y'all are in for a treat, okay? You get to hear from someone else today. Are you kind of glad about that? Yeah, you hear me talk all the time.
You're my favorite.
Well, I think Miss Charlene is going to do awesome. So I'm going to pass this on to you.
Thank you.
All right. And so if you were not here last week, she's going to remind us what the story is, okay? We do have the picture, so we can go back and review. All right, lift up and listen.
Good morning. So, if I told you guys that I was a little nervous, is that okay?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been nervous before?
No.
Have you guys ever had to speak in the front of a class and everybody's looking at you and everything inside of you just tenses up and you get really nervous and you're afraid that you're going to forget everything? Claire, have you felt like that before?
No, I don't like singing in front of people.
You don't like singing?
I record my voice and I'll let other people listen to it.
You will? I don't like the sound of my own voice. This is difficult for me, but I'm excited to be here with you guys today. And what's up, baby?
I think that's good for them because they keep hurting other people, so they deserve to get hurt too.
Oh, but is that the way that God would want us to handle it?
No. But it's just that maybe if other people see that they're hurt, maybe they can help them.
Yeah. So if you guys don't remember, or if you weren't here last week, we have a couple of friends that are in a race. And they're in a race to win some money. And they'll probably go buy something really cool. And what they did is that each person is paired up with a buddy. And those buddies are trying to cross the finish line. And as many people that cross the finish line, they're going to split the money. So we have a couple of friends whose name are Blake and Hunter that they've decided they don't want a lot of people crossing the finish line because That means that they'll get all the money and they won't have to share it with others. So you guys remember what they were doing last week? They were trying to trip people in the maze. And what else did they do?
They threw I forgot what it was, like a frog or something, at the girls.
Yes, they threw frogs at girls. And of course we're like, ooh, and then they dropped it. What else did they do?
By the way, if somebody won, if somebody beat the other person, everybody could get them some money.
That would be the best way to go about it, probably. But do you remember what they did last week to...
I wasn't here.
Oh, well...
What do they do in the mud?
Do you guys remember what they did in the mud? Do you remember they put butter on something? What did they put butter on? Lauren?
A log.
They did
So
put...
that the others could slip.
They put butter on a log. Who would think of that? So basically, they're doing everything they possibly can to get the other contestants to drop their pumpkins. And now we're on to the wheelbarrow race. They're running and they're running and they're running and they fall. And they hurt themselves. We have Blake who hurts his head and it's in so much pain. And then we have Hunter that hurts his ankle and they can't go on. And so this is kind of where we're at right now. And they're so worried because they're like, how are we going to keep going? We're in so much pain and people are starting to pass them. And who do you guys think comes up and passes them next? I'm going to go ahead and answer. Is that okay? Can I answer the question? I know that was a rhetorical question. That was my bad. I did that.
Questions you just think about.
Yeah. That was going to be Carson and Kent. Do you guys remember Carson and Kent? Weren't they trying really, really hard to get Carson and Kent out of the race? They were being pretty mean to them. And all of a sudden, we have our friends that are on the ground and they're in so much pain. And here come Carson and Kent. Carson and Kent, they stop and they say, oh my goodness, what's wrong? And they replied, we're hurt. We can't go on, you know. And of course, Blake and Hunter are sitting there thinking, they're just going to leave us. They should leave us. We've done all of these terrible things to them, right? I mean, that's what you would expect. If someone had been picking on you, would you be likely to help and stop them? It'd be hard. It'd be really hard to help somebody that was mean to you. But what's special about Carson and Kent is that they know something wonderful about God. They know that God tells them to love everybody, even the people that are mean to them. Now, I know that that's very, very difficult. Trust me, I have had moments in my life that people have been mean to me, and I gotta say, I did not want to be nice back. It was very hard, and it's hard for a lot of us, especially with siblings or friends. But Carson and Kent, they had a little powwow, and they said, you know what? We should help them. Carson said to Kent, but we'll lose the race. If we stop and we help them, we're going to lose too. But that's the right thing to do. Do you know what they did? They helped them. Yes, that's right. So one stayed with, and then the other went to go get a first aid person to help. And as they waited for the first aid to come and help, everybody passed by them. All of the other contestants went right by, but they were helping friends. So the first aid person came, and they bandaged up Blake's head, and they helped Hunter's leg. And you know what those boys did? Carson and Kent put Blake and Hunter in their wheelbarrows, and they wheeled them on to the end of the race. Other way, other way. Look at this. So they got to finish. That maybe not with the person they expected to finish, but they were so cool. It was amazing of them to load up their friends that were kind of mean to them and help them finish the race. And you know what happened as they finished the race? The judges decided to give Carson and Kent, the boys that helped Hunter and Blake, a special prize. Because they had just gone above and beyond. Even though they knew that they were going to lose the race, they still decided to help their friends, even though they knew it was difficult. So, have you guys ever had those moments? I just want you to think about it. That you helped somebody that was mean to you, and in the long run, at the very end of it, something good came out of that. Maybe your friendship was better because of it, or maybe something special happened where it felt really good, and you really benefited from helping somebody. We may not feel like it in the moment, But sometimes there's a good reward, or sometimes we just know that we did the right thing. And that makes us feel good. And when we feel good, that's a reward in itself, right, guys? Yeah, because nobody wants to feel bad. And sometimes we do feel bad when we make the wrong choice or we sin. And would it have been a sin to leave them where they were at?
No.
It might have been, because God says to love everybody, even if they're mean to us. And someone needed our help. And should we help? Yes, we should help. Yes, Lauren. Is it about the story? Okay, let me hear it.
Did Kent and Carson get the money?
No, they didn't get the money. They got another special prize. Is it about the story? Samantha? Yes, can I hear it?
Since it would be mean, how they can tell them how they feel, and then maybe they can get along with each other.
Well, you know what? That's going to be the next part of what happens. You know what the boys do, Hunter and Blake? They apologize. They apologized to Carson and Kent. They said, we did not deserve this. We did not deserve you guys being so kind to us. Carson said, I know you didn't deserve it, but that's what God tells me to do. Have you ever had to apologize to somebody for being mean? I know I have. I've been mean when I was younger. I had 2 siblings. I had an older brother and a younger brother. And I'll tell you what, they picked on me a whole bunch. And sometimes I would pick back. But I always felt better when I apologized. I knew that I shouldn't pick on them. And I had to apologize, and it feels good to apologize. So they apologized. And they said, you know what? That's okay. That's all right. Maybe we should become friends. And so you guys know what happened next year at the same event? Claire, what do you think happened?
I think that when Hunter teams up with Carson.
That's exactly what happens. Instead of Blake and Hunter on a team and Carson and Kent on a team, they switch. And they become partners, and they become best friends, and they enter the race together. And they have a wonderful time. And because of this moment, because of God's love, they were able to make new friends. And it's not easy to make new friends. But in that moment, that was an easy thing to do. It was easy for them to stop and love them. Because that's what God calls us to do. Have you guys, do you remember a time in which God told you to do something and you did it and you felt really good about it? Yeah? Do you think in this moment, the boys, when they crossed the finish line, do you think it mattered that they were mean to them anymore after they apologized? Do you think everything was all better? Do you think maybe it was still a little hard to forgive?
It was really good.
It was really good. But it's okay that sometimes it's hard to forgive. It's not going to be easy every time. But they did it. And they had a wonderful race. And now they're best friends. And what helped that situation was the fact that Carson and Kent knew Jesus. And it's easier for us to love when we have love in our hearts. And when we have love for Jesus in our hearts. Right? Now, I know that we've all sinned. You guys remember what sin is? Can you guys stand up and tell me? We're going to stand up and do it together. Sin is anything we think, say, or do that breaks God's laws or makes him sad. Do you think Carson and Kent made Blake and Hunter happy when they helped them through the situation in which Blake and Hunter had sinned? Yeah, Blake and Hunter definitely were not nice to others, and that's a sin. You're welcome to sit down. Good job, guys. Good job listening. I was going to leave you up the whole time because I was just going to forget to ask you to sit because I'm so nervous. Yes?
Sometimes when Lauren pretends to be hurt, she just pretends to be hurt so I can help her. She pretends.
That's okay. She wants a little bit of loving. So we have all sinned. We have all done bad things in our life. But you know who paid the ultimate price for us in that situation? Jesus, not me. No, not me. I did. Oh, Jesus up there. Yes. Jesus paid the ultimate price for us because he will forgive your sin. He will be with you when you do what's right, and someday he'll share with those things with you in heaven. But you got to be able to do the hard things, like forgive somebody or help somebody even when they're being mean. And I know a lot of you guys in here know God's love and have asked God to be with you. And if there are those in the room that haven't had the opportunity yet to have a conversation with God, we have amazing leaders in here like Miss Gina and Stevens and the wonderful twins in the back who would love to talk with you guys about God. And even if you're having a hard time with a friend, that you're having a hard time forgiving somebody, please talk to us about that. And maybe we can help you through that situation, and we can help you figure out how to love them even when it's difficult. Because what does God tell us to do in John 15:12? What's our verse today, guys? Let me hear it.
This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you.
Very good. Very good, you guys. And isn't that what Carson and Kent did?
Yes.
Did he show love just to Blake and Hunter even though it was difficult?
Yes.
Do you think maybe it's hard for God to love us sometimes?
No.
No, it's not. Why?
He's always been loving us,
He's always going to love us,
no matter what we do.
no matter what we do. But does that mean that we can do whatever we want?
No.
No, that's not cool. We can't do that. Are we going to have a better life if we follow God's commandments?
Yes.
Yes. So if you guys have any questions about following God's commandments, or if you need help with this situation, we would love to help you guys and talk to you guys about it a little bit more. Yes, Claire? Probably because that's a special place for you guys, or for the friends that may not know God. Do we know friends that maybe don't have a relationship with God yet? I think that's a special place for them because we want them to be in that picture with us, because we want them to go to heaven with us. And maybe the biggest way that you can show somebody that you are a Christ follower is by showing them God's love through your actions. Have you guys ever heard actions speak louder than words? Do you think Carson and Kent's actions spoke really loud to Blake and Hunter? Yeah, they stopped. They gave up the race. They gave up money to be able to help them. So their actions spoke very loud to them.
Money to people that were mean to them.
Yep. That's not
people that were nice to them.
That's not an easy thing to do. So their actions and your actions speak super loud to your friends nearby. So what do we need to do? Is that we always need to show love, even when it's not easy. But I know you guys can do it, okay? Thank you for letting me talk with you guys today.
Did you guys enjoy hearing from Miss Charlene? I know I did.
I loved it.
She did so wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you,
That
thank
was
you.
such a great story. Yes, you can clap for her if you want.
And I'm actually going to be with you guys next week, too. So just giving you a heads up, Miss Jenna's not going to be here next week, and I'm going to be up here all this time with you guys.
Say pumpkin race.
Because that was their pumpkin race that they did together.